Here are 7 snakes that can live in a 20-gallon tank their entire lives, and it's perfect for people that don't have a lot of space where they live. Let's get right into that video. Number 1 on the list is the rubber boa. Now, if you've never heard of rubber boas, they're pretty weird looking. They can grow up to 2 feet, so they're a pretty small species. A 20-gallon is just enough for that, but if your snake does get a little bit bigger than that, I would say anywhere from 24 and up, then I would recommend a 30-gallon. Juveniles feed on reptile eggs, lizards, and adults usually eat rodents and birds. It's really cool how rubber boas actually use their tail. They use it to mimic their face, their head, so then that way when the adult mouse is over here chewing and attacking the tail, they're actually in the rest of the den looking for the babies to eat those. They're actually native to the West Coast, which is really amazing because if you've ever used the app iNaturalist, there's actually some that live near me, so I might do a video on trying to find the rubber boa. Go ahead and comment down below. If I get 5 comments, then I'll go do it. Number 2 on the list is a hognose snake. Males usually get anywhere from 12 to 24 inches and females usually get to about 36 inches. So if you're gonna keep a hognose snake in a 20-gallon, I would recommend actually just getting the male because the females, they will grow larger. They do very well on mice, and sometimes as babies, they do have a little bit of trouble actually eating rodents. So all you have to do is get like a toad or a frog and scent the rodent with that amphibian, and they usually get placed on rodents pretty easily after that. They do this weird thing, and it's called thanatosis, which is where Thanos gets his name. They like to play dead, and they musk all over themselves sometimes as well, so that predators that are usually driven by hunting get put off from them. This is a species that spans most of North and Central South America. There is, I think, 1 South American species.
Very nice words, but happens to be wrong.
There's the Mexican hognose, and then they're basically almost all over the US as well. And I like to compare these snakes a lot to ball pythons because they have all these different types of morphs coming out. Here's my little baby right here. He's actually one of the ones that went off feed because he wanted amphibians, but once I was able to scent the rodents with amphibian scent, he actually started eating. So now I actually got him on a very aggressive feeding schedule. He's eating every 2 days and he's putting on some size now. So very beautiful snake. He's a het snow or het albino and axanthic as well. So with those 2 morphs or recessive traits combined, they do create a snake that looks like snow, which is where they got their name. Moving on to number 3 on the list is the garter snake. Now, I just recently went herping, which herping means looking for reptiles. It doesn't mean anything else. Weird word, I know. They usually get anywhere from 12 to 36 inches, and I did find an adult garter snake. I don't know if it was a female or a male, but it was amazing. I think I might actually do a lot more of a herping videos just because it was a really cool experience. But they will basically eat anything. They'll eat fish. I've actually gone fishing one time, and I wish I still had the video, but I threw a fish at a snake and it caught it. It didn't not like a dog, but the fish landed in the shallow water and the snake instantly grabbed it. They readily go on a rodent diet in captivity, or you can actually feed them feeder fish as well. I just don't really recommend feeder fish because it's a little harder to keep parasites away from them. With rodents, at least they're frozen thawed, and you can get them from a trusted rodent facility. Garter snakes got their name from sock garters, which were used to hold up your socks in the old times. Smaller species are going to be better in a 20-gallon. Do your research. This is not a care guide. So if there's one garter snake that does better in a 20-gallon, that'd be better. That's perfect. Some garter snakes get really big and 20 gallons are just not enough space for them. So just do your research. If you live in kind of around marshy areas or areas that have a lot of garter snakes in them, they do these things called breeding balls, and basically they just get in these huge balls and they start breeding. And they also give live birth, which is really cool as well, so there's no incubation needed. I also found a baby one on my herping travels. Number 4 on the list is the Kenyan sand boa, or basically any sand boa that you want to get your hands on. I used to have a Russian sand boa, which you can actually, I believe there's a video of that on my YouTube in like the way earlier videos. This is a sexually dimorphic species, so males are a lot smaller than females. Typically they get around 2 to 3 feet in length, with the females getting that larger 3 foot. They can readily feed on rodents, but they are clumsy eaters. If you ever owned one or if you ever seen one try to eat, it's so funny. They like to hide in the sand and then they'll do this little side motion thing. It's so cute, but nonetheless they can eat pretty well still. The only downside is that if you like to feed live, be very careful because they are clumsy eaters. They can be more susceptible to getting hurt by the prey item. Because it is a boa, they also give live birth. So if you're looking for your first species to start breeding, they're a really easy species to get to breed. Number 5 on the list is the house snake. House snakes are pretty awesome. I thought that they were pythons, but apparently they're not. I think they're in the family of the colubrid species, but they get anywhere from 2 to 4 feet. Now this species, yeah, you do have to be a little bit more careful because they can actually get to 4 feet. But I believe that, you know, from baby to juvenile, a 20-gallon is perfect for them. If your snake doesn't get that big, then a 20-gallon would be fine, but I would recommend 30 to 40 gallons if they keep growing. It's crazy that they're a colubrid, but they also live in the same place that ball pythons are from, which is really cool. Another fun fact about them is that they actually fire up and fire down just like crested geckos. So you might have a snake one day and it's kind of like a, you know, beige white color, and you look at it again and it's more of like a black color. Number 6 on the list is the anthill python or the pygmy python. They're called anthill pythons because they live near termite mounds, which are not ants, but anyways. They get anywhere from 1 to 2 feet, so they're a very, very small species of python, which is freaking awesome because I think pythons and boas are at the top of the list in terms of like wow factors. They are from Western Australia, so any pygmy pythons or anthill pythons that you get are most likely going to be captive bred because it's actually illegal now to transport anything out of Australia. They are still kind of expensive. They're anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000, but you can get children's pythons for a lot cheaper than that. Number 7 on the list is the Rosy Boa. This is another boa that actually lives in the United States, which I think is freaking awesome because boas and pythons, usually you just hear them like, oh, South America or Asia and stuff like that. So it's really cool that this boa lives here in the US and it's kind of close to me as well. They eat small rodents, birds, lizards, and even other snakes. They have also been observed to eat sidewinder rattlesnakes as well, which is really cool. This is one of those species that is also sexually dimorphic. Only the males will have spurs, which is what they use to kind of tickle during mating. And the morphs on these guys are also pretty awesome. And of course, like the other boas, they give live birth. Let me know if I missed a snake in the comments below. And if you want to see 7 small species of boas that you can own, then click this video right here.
All right, do you want to say peace out? Say peace out, guys.